Now to the cackling witch herself, Joy Behar from The View, whose jealousy is something to behold.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be. Here is Joy objectifying the White House press secretary, saying she only has the job because.
Joy Behar's sudden exit from The View has sent shockwaves through the industry. Fans, critics, and even her longtime co-hosts are left stunned, scrambling to figure out what happened. Known for her sharp tongue and fearless takes, Behar has been no stranger to backlash over the years. But this time, it seems like the firestorm surrounding her has finally spiraled out of control. ABC has kept things under wraps, refusing to reveal the real reason behind her abrupt departure. However, whispers of an ongoing legal battle are making rounds, specifically a defamation lawsuit filed by Karoline Leavitt. Given Behar's history with controversy, many are now questioning if this lawsuit was the final straw that forced the network to part ways with the outspoken host. The drama all started when Behar made a scathing remark about Leavitt, who serves as Donald Trump's press secretary. In a segment that quickly went viral, Behar boldly implied that Leavitt didn't land her position due to political or professional qualifications, but because, according to Trump, she was physically attractive. This comment sparked immediate backlash, with critics accusing Behar of hypocrisy and blatant disrespect. With legal troubles brewing, many believe Behar's fate at ABC was sealed the moment those words left her mouth. Now, the big question remains. Was this just a case of Behar finally crossing the line, or is there more to the story that ABC doesn't want the public to know?
Empowering feminist Joy herself, everyone. And this is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world.
The View hosts have found themselves in major trouble once again. And this time, they've done the very thing they usually speak out against: undermining women's achievements. Joy Behar left viewers in shock when she claimed that Karoline Leavitt, the 27-year-old press secretary for Donald Trump, only secured her position because of her looks. The twist? Behar and her co-hosts often pride themselves on supporting and empowering women, but this comment has many questioning their stance on the very issues they claim to fight for.
Been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be. Here is Joy objectifying the White House press secretary, saying she only has the job because.
The comment was utterly shocking, especially coming from Joy Behar, someone who has built her persona around being as woke as they come, and a vocal advocate for feminism. One online critic didn't mince words, labeling her remark as disgusting, after Behar claimed that Karoline Leavitt's position was secured solely because of her looks. The moment Behar made the jaw-dropping statement, the air in the View studio went cold. Gasps echoed through the room, and even her co-hosts, accustomed to her bold, no-holds-barred approach, were left visibly taken aback. However, the real chaos erupted online. Social media quickly exploded with outrage as critics from all sides accused Behar of reducing a powerful woman in politics to nothing more than her appearance. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. For years, Behar has positioned herself as a staunch advocate for women's rights, regularly calling out sexism in politics, media, and entertainment. But this time, her own words came back to bite her. Viewers were stunned by the hypocrisy. How could someone who preaches feminism and women's empowerment so casually diminish another woman's success? The backlash was swift and fierce, and the internet wasted no time demanding accountability.
Would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
How well you can do your job, and the American people agree with that sentiment. So it's about confidence, skill.
Hashtags like /cancel Joy Behar and /fire Joy Behar quickly flooded Twitter, with even some of Behar's most loyal supporters struggling to defend her this time. The disappointment was palpable, as fans who once admired her boldness now felt betrayed. Many saw her comment as not only dismissive but downright degrading. But while the outrage grew, Behar barely flinched. Instead of addressing the mounting backlash, she dismissed it as just another temporary media frenzy, acting as if the storm would pass. But this wasn't your average controversy. It was a full-blown crisis. Things took a major turn when Karoline Leavitt decided she wouldn't let it slide. The press secretary wasted no time hitting back, taking the ultimate step: legal action.
On ensuring that the most competent individuals, the best and the brightest in this country, are in position.
Karoline Leavitt didn't just respond with a strongly worded statement. She went straight for the legal jugular. Rather than simply condemning Joy Behar's remarks in public, Leavitt took it to the courts, filing a lawsuit that accused Behar of outright defamation. But this wasn't just about hurt feelings. Legal experts quickly pointed out that Leavitt's case went much deeper. She wasn't just claiming to be offended. She argued that Behar's comments had actively damaged her professional reputation. To make matters worse, the lawsuit alleged that Behar didn't merely misspeak. She acted with malicious intent, deliberately attempting to ruin Leavitt's credibility. As the legal battle picked up steam, ABC found itself in an untenable position, caught between the mounting pressure and the escalating crisis.
May have your jobs because of wokeness, but do not smear a competent professional woman like...
The network had always supported Joy Behar through numerous scandals, but this time the stakes were much higher. A defamation lawsuit wasn't just a negative headline. It represented a potential financial and public relations catastrophe. Executives were reportedly thrown into a frenzy, holding urgent meetings to strategize their next steps. If they chose to stand by Behar, they would be committing to a long, grueling legal battle that could drag on for years, potentially tarnishing the network's reputation. On the flip side, if they decided to cut ties with her, they'd lose one of The View's most divisive yet headline-making personalities. Tensions behind the scenes were running high, with staff members split. Some believed Behar had finally crossed the line, while others felt she was being unfairly singled out. Sources revealed that discussions had already begun on how to deal with the fallout from this escalating crisis.
Democrats have been labeling President Trump a to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to one of the worst mass in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political that has led to 2 heinous attempts on President Trump's life that by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political violence because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father, Dick Cheney, have got this country into is not political. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young.
Several options were being considered, ranging from a temporary suspension to pressuring Behar into issuing a public apology. However, the most drastic measure on the table was asking her to step down entirely. If ABC was leaning toward that decision, it would signal that they believed the scandal was beyond redemption. What may have started as just another brief controversy had quickly exploded into a full-blown crisis for ABC. The network was scrambling to manage the fallout, but before they could come up with a plan, the bombshell dropped. Joy Behar was officially leaving The View. ABC's statement was vague and raised suspicions, simply claiming that Behar had decided to step away. But let's be honest, no one was buying that this was a voluntary exit. The timing was far too convenient, coming right after Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit and a social media firestorm that showed no sign of dying down. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed that ABC's top executives had already made up their minds. Behar had become too much of a liability, and the network was cutting its losses before things got even worse. Reactions to her departure were explosive. Some viewers celebrated, arguing that Behar had gotten away with too much for too long with her unfiltered commentary, and that it was time she faced real consequences. For them, this was long overdue accountability, calling out what they saw as a pattern of hypocrisy in her remarks. But for others, the decision sparked outrage. To them, ABC's move was corporate cowardice, another instance of a major network caving to political pressure instead of standing by one of its most outspoken voices. The debate quickly ignited. Was this a justified response to an over-the-top comment, or was it just another case of cancel culture going too far, silencing a media veteran for speaking her mind? Social media, news outlets, and even late-night talk shows jumped into the fray, dissecting every angle. Was Behar's departure really about the lawsuit, or had ABC been looking for an excuse to push her out for good? Now that Behar was gone, the spotlight shifted to The View itself. What's next for the long-running talk show? Will ABC play it safe and bring in a less polarizing voice? Or will they double down and replace Behar with someone just as fiery? More importantly, who could possibly fill the void left by her departure? Love her or hate her, there's no denying that Joy Behar was the show's biggest headline maker. Now, the million-dollar question: what happens to the lawsuit now that she's no longer on The View? Will the legal battle continue, or will ABC intervene to squash the fire before it spirals any further? Some industry insiders believe the network is already working behind the scenes to settle with Karoline Leavitt, hoping to make this controversy disappear before it does more damage to ABC's reputation. A prolonged courtroom showdown could turn into a PR disaster, keeping Behar's controversial remarks in the headlines for months, maybe even years. But others aren't convinced it'll be that easy to resolve.